Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Merissa Ocampo and affiliated with the Fukushima Gakuen Daigaku. What I am going to share with you today are some of my students' voices during the pandemic and how I listened to their voices you know, was not that easy, but through these two approaches, I did manage to listen to some of them. And in addition, in traditional classroom, techniques have been developed to facilitate conducive physical classroom setups to motivate students, right? And we provide students with all sorts of practical necessities. But sometimes we tend to neglect to prepare the minds about the benefits of mistakes before we begin or start teaching, because there are times that we really focus to the physical things to motivate the students now. So especially the um, the manual or the steps that we are going to do. So in implementing the family environment mode approach, or from now on we will call it FEMA, within the classroom, the development of learner and teacher relationships is central. So the process of learning a new language is therefore like reborn and developing a new persona, which I believe resonates with FEMA. So, FEMA also focuses on the psychological requirements for successful learning, motivating Japanese students to speak more and then eradicate their fear of making mistakes in the classroom, and then especially in communication classes, is an important challenge. I often encourage and remind the students that, through mistakes, we learn to know more about ourselves, including our limitations and abilities. So mistakes can be seen now as good companion in the language learning journey. Also, when we see these mistakes as lessons to be learned rather than something to be feared, then we will be able to grow, as Carol Dweck said in her studies. Now here are the objectives of this study. To encourage students to be pro mistakes by creating a family like environment mode now, where students can accept mistakes as a part of their learning journey and reduce their anxiety and increase their motivation to learn, of course, and to encourage students to be positive and grateful, and also through self disclosure during the COVID pandemic. And the first approach now I used was FEMA. So FEMA was designed by myself in 2015 to motivate students by changing the classroom mindset from a traditional one to one that embraces failure and sees mistakes as a necessary part of the language learning journey. Importantly, so this process can completely reduce or eradicate anxiety and stress, and then opening the door to learning, where everybody in the classroom, of course, can accept that classroom is their family away from their real family. Now, that their teacher standing right in front of them actually is their mom or a brother or a sister or a dad or other siblings now. So in this way they would be able now to feel that their English classroom is the family, is their family, and also their group now at the same time, because people as we are, or human as we are, we always need somebody to be cling with and a group to be with together, right? So if that kind of feeling, that kind of mindset is already in their mind, then that they are belong in the group, then this stress and anxiety in the classroom will be lessened. So we all know that fear has the power to shut down someone's ability to function properly, right? And during the COVID pandemic, students' fears doubled. So, and what are these now? So, the first fear was the fear of speaking in English, right? So, we already been studying about this for decades now, how to encourage, how to motivate students to speak in the classroom, especially among Japanese. And the reasons might be, there are many reasons, might be either to avoid mistakes, or maybe they feel shy, or maybe they don't like English now. So they kept of identifying themselves as not, that they are not good at it. They always, tell to their selves that they're not good at it. I'm not good at it. In Japanese they say, yeah, watashi wa baka dakara, or something like that. Now, so, and the second fear was what? Yes, the fear of catching the COVID virus. So it was a challenge, really, not only for students, but also for teachers. So, the dual cause of fear of speaking in participating in an English classroom environment was a major challenge for teachers during pandemic. In situations like this, you need one of the roles of a super teacher. So we are all the super teachers, superwoman, super teacher, superman now. So, and that is to encourage students to disclose both positive and negative emotions while being grateful for what life has given them to boost their happiness in the classroom. And so these two trial approaches were used to encourage students to disclose their feelings and emotions and to be grateful for what they have at that moment. So, first, the family environment mode of approach, or the FEMA, and I explained to them what is, what is this FEMA all about, and this is about actually a homely learning environment, and letting the students to accept mistakes positively as it is they part of their English learning journey now. And for the self-disclosure, I explained to them what is self-disclosure all about and its benefits. So what is self-disclosure anyway? So then I asked them how effective mindfulness to students, and asked them to ask their own perceptions about the importance of self-disclosure now, and then also ask them to answer the gratitude questionnaire, and write them a gratitude journal for 2 weeks. So for the interview, informal interview was done only for those who were willing to disclose their feelings about the FEMA, self-disclosure, and even gratitude now, and what they were grateful for. So because during the pandemic, so face-to-face communication and direct contact with the students were as much as possible minimized, right? So I gave the students two options, to record their voices, or they just answered the prepared form and share their inner voices with me. And 95% chose writing their voices, and 5% chose the informal chat with extra precautions, of course. Now, and now let's start to listen to some of the students' voices through FEMA first. Okay, so students were asked about how do they agree of creating a fun and stress-free classroom environment to motivate them to learn English. And of the 40 students, 22 students agreed, and then 38% of them moderately agreed, and 40% strongly agreed. And one of the comments from the students, prior to giving the task to share their voices, one of the voices from the students was actually that they could not write so their thoughts and opinions well in English. So they wanted to be able to write their opinions in Japanese. And at first, I was quite hesitant about the fact that I wanted to provide them with an English speaking learning environment. But, after hearing their voices, I felt the need now. So, because I myself cannot write deeply and broadly when I write something in Japanese. So, I could feel, and I can put myself in their own shoes, no? So I can sympathize with their feelings of hesitance to write. So we agreed, no? So we agreed that both English and Japanese were actually accepted. So I gave them the format. I prepared and gave them the format to use, and they, very happy, enthusiastically completed the task full of written voices. And if you will see it in the slides, you will see that there is Japanese sections there, and then also the English one. Okay, and then for the students' voices about the family mode approach, here are some only of the voices of them. Samples now. So here are the samples of students' testimonials regarding the family environment mode approach. And then these voices are original with no modifications. So please don't mind about the mistakes, because, so they were also accepted to allowed to use the Google Translate. So this is it. Now I'll give you 30 seconds to read these three voices. Okay, and other students' voices regarding FEMA. I will again give you 30 seconds to read the voices. And next, we are going to go to self disclosure now. And I explained to them that the self disclosure was about the sharing of emotions and feelings, both positive and negative. Now, so that is, that these can also help to improve any kinds of relationship by promoting deeper understanding. So as early as 1971, George, one of the researchers, defined disclosure as the act of making yourself manifest, showing yourself so that others can perceive you. So, which leads to the conclusion that telling others about yourself through love and trust, that is the positive disclosure, is paramount for any kinds of relationships. So some, of course, were hesitant to disclose their feelings except to their close friends and sometimes to their parents. But trust is really necessary, and to assure them that their shared emotions are safe with me. Some did, and some did not. Of course, not everybody now did that one, but especially male students. But most of the ladies now, so they shared their feelings and emotions with me. And here are the voices of the students about the self-disclosure. So I will give you again about 30 seconds to have a quick look. If you will look at the yellow one, so I learned from Okan. So this Okan is actually me. So I asked them to call me mom or mother or sister. But then some students called me Okan, because Okan in Japanese is mother, And since in Japanese Okan is Okasan, it's a short form for Okasan. So some of them called me Okan now. So I learned from Okan that communing with nature and myself can also be a way to show that I love myself. That is one of the students said now. And then I think it's very important to share our feelings and bring out our emotions externally, because I believe it will help us to pour them out and reset them instead of storing them. So beautiful. I believe that when we allow students to share their inner emotions and feelings through writing, let us allow students to write their feelings first in Japanese and then use the Google Translate to translate it in English, and then help them to um, correct if there are some wrong interpretations or wrong translation. I think that is in that way, so we would be able really to hear students' voices. Now, let's go by encouraging them to accept me as their teacher and then also as their mom in the classroom at the same time. So they shared now, so their voices automatically. So they said that it is quite effective. So because recognizing distressing experiences in your own word and expressions means accepting the current situation. So, and if you can accept it, you can judge things calmly. If you look yourself objectively, you will find new discoveries and deepen your self-awareness. And using the now when it comes to the gratitude, so I use the questionnaire, the gratitude questionnaire, the GQ6 questionnaire by Mac Collin, and many students realized that they had so much in life to be thankful for. So I every meeting, so I encourage them to look around and be aware of the good things that they had to be thankful for. And then after answering the questionnaire, so now the result found that these things that they have realized that they had so much life now, so much in life to be thankful for. And then of course followed by thankful to a variety of people around them. So while others accepting the fact that as they get older, so they become more appreciative of the events and situations in their lives. So through an informal interview also, some students shared that they were not aware of being grateful, or for small things around them now, so such as flowers, insects, and then the challenges in life. So they thought the challenges in life were just only making them their lives misery, but then when I kept on telling them that so it is part of life, and just look at it as in a positive ways, and then these challenges make them more stronger, and blah 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 blah. So the perspective about challenges in life changed a bit. So after gratitude intervention in the classroom, still of course some students approach me, so I was quite happy for that now, because even after taking English classes now, so from me, so they still showed their appreciation by thanking me for being kind and patient in the classroom. So, well, actually, I had this experience that, that was only a year ago, I guess. So, one of the students met me outside the campus, and she actually no actually two of them, so they introduced themselves to be recognized. And then one of the students also I met in the pet shop. So if you will look at the slides, so this kind of now, so it's I myself I myself actually is quite happy about this, because it's quite rare now scenario among Japanese young students in Japan to to greet the teacher outside now. Even especially even at the campus, they don't even give you, in the campus they actually greet, but outside the campus now, so they seldom greet the teachers, I guess. So and Next is I am showing you the unedited English and Japanese version. Thoughts of the selected items, and here is students A's impression of FEMA, the self-disclosure and gratitude intervention in the classroom. So she said that I think it will be of great help. In recent years, there have been many people who are stressed out and struggling with their lives, and students and teachers are no exception, even if their daily activities are different, so they're all equally human and they have a variety of problems and stresses. I think it's a very effective study because recognizing how to deal with problems and caring for yourself can lead to improved the quality of life. And this is also the Japanese version below. And next is the second person, the personal impression B about the FEMA, self-disclosure and gratitude intervention in the classroom again. So communicating with many people is important, even if you have a painful experience other than fun or happy. So you will be happy by accepting it firmly and expressing your emotions. So for the conclusion and recommendation, so please you know you will look you'll see it here on the slide that thank you for reading through. I tried my best to do the task, but I am worried if I understand it correctly, and I was the worst at English, and it was not my favorite subject, but I did my best in my own way. So it was a very enjoyable class. Thank you very much for taking care of me this past year. You see, when you see this kind of message, then we teachers also will become, we will be also motivated by the by hearing the voices of the students. And for the conclusion and recommendation, so let us, please listen to my voice this time as their teacher and a mom in the classroom. So based on the shared students' voices, I would like to conclude that the study is worth keep doing. I myself felt grateful for the positive comments of the students. As I've mentioned a while ago, I highly recommend other teachers consider using them in their own classroom. So though other uttered the same phrases again and again, which were I don't know English and English is difficult. English is not my favorite subject, but at the last minute, so they will definitely do their task. And thank you for listening to my students' voices. So my message for you today, especially for this presentation, is to always listen to your students with compassion so that relationship between students and teachers can be developed. When it happened, students will start to disclose their inner thoughts and feelings. Thus, your students' voices will also become your voices. Thank you so much for listening.